I do have a great debate that happens sometimes, and here is if you're on YouTube, you're gonna see this. We've got the fudge rounds, which is the Big Deborah cakes, no, Little Debbie cakes, and the oatmeal cream pies. All right.
Welcome back to the Banner Tree Podcast. I'm going to start out with this. If you're looking to catch world-class smallmouth bass, it's right here in West Virginia. Look no further than New River Trophy Outfitters. Go to newrivertrophyoutfitters.com or call 304-575-5363. So, Ryan, I think, we talked a little bit about what we were going to chat about today, and you've got us a scripture to open us up with like we normally do.
Yeah, absolutely. The scripture I have in the thought it's in Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, and it says this: "Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers." And I know throughout life there's all kinds of situations and things that we come up on and circumstances that happen in our lives, and it's like if you have the opportunity to do good for people, you should do it. And we had one of those experiences in a field hunting. And the thing is waterfowling, you think you might be going to some private property. Some of us hunt public property, and we're trying to be good to other hunters as we see them, because the reality is you're going to run into somebody when you're hunting. You're going to at either the boat launch or in the blind. Somebody's going to come up on you, and you have the opportunity to do the right thing, to say the right thing, and we had that opportunity. And so I would say in every situation in our lives, if you can do good, you need to do the right thing.
Yeah, and it holds true, especially in the season we're about to go into. Right here in November, looking at Thanksgiving, looking at the holidays, and I think I say this is what, year 3 now? So I say this every time, but so many people are struggling around this time, and it's a hard time for so many people, broken families, lost loved ones, and it really, I guess because we think of holidays here in America as spending time with family, all those things kind of just come back, and you start reminiscing on those things, and some people are, they're down and out, and you gotta look at it and say, when you get in situations where somebody might have been mean to you, or somebody might have cut you off or something like that, they're going through rough day. You gotta step back and look at the situation and show them a little bit of compassion that they might not have had that day.
Well, the thing is I think in America, and we could say this in numerous situations just in our lives, but we don't give people the benefit of the doubt. Our perspective is we don't do that. If somebody's late, it's because they're a piece of trash. They they slept in. They didn't set their alarm right.
They're not thinking about me.
Yeah.
Woe is me because you made me late now.
Yeah, and so what happens is they could have had a bad phone call. Their kid could have been sick. They could have been. They could have been up at 4:30 in the morning getting everything together to get there. But we're like, I can't believe they're 3 minutes late or whatever.
Yeah.
You just don't. You don't put yourself in their shoes. You don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And what tends to be is we're selfish. We're selfish people. We want what we want when we want it, the way we want it, at the time we want it. And so it's good to reevaluate and sit back and think, hey, if I want people, it's the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do you want somebody to cut you off? Do you want somebody to be mean to you? Do you want someone to cuss you out? Don't be that to other people. Do the right thing. The Bible also says that people will know us by the love we have for one another. So when you don't tip your waitress, when you don't do those things, it's like, what kind of love do you have? You're not showing the world love, so why do they want what's on the inside of you? And so if you have the opportunity to do good, as Galatians says, be sure and do it. And we have that opportunity. We all do.
That's a good word. We try to open up this podcast with scripture every time, and that's a good one, especially for today. We're going to talk about a hunt that we had a couple months ago. I guess it was, what was it, early September?
Early split,
early September, and I went out with a guy who had invited us on this. It's private property, which is what's the unique thing about this story is we went and scouted it the week before, and there were several freshly cut cornfields, which we don't get to indulge in all the time.
Right.
But this was a good opportunity for us. And a young man that goes to the church here, and
He had never been?
Yeah, his first goose hunt. So we had the opportunity to go and scout before, and he knows the farmer really well. And so we pull up that morning. We were out there early, and we pull up that morning. We top over the cornfields, kind of rolling hills, here in Southwest Virginia, and we top over the hill, get out of the truck, and I see 2 headlamps coming toward us.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're not on public land.
Yeah.
We're on private property. So the first thing in my mind is they're not supposed to be here.
Right.
And so I look back at the guy who's invited us, and I'm like, hey man, there's somebody else here. What do you want to do? So we went and approached them. They were coming towards us. They had already seen our truck lights. And it was a little tense. I mean, you get a little tense because I stayed up the whole night before, so excited about this because I knew that there were birds there. I knew that this was an opportunity that we don't really get that often with a private hunt over corn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So especially again right here in Southwest Virginia. So we approached these folks, and it was a female and a male, and we, tried to stand your ground. It's like, hey, what are you doing here? And so they say that there's a man that he knew that owned the farm. And this particular farm, I think there's I don't know that it's owned by different people, but there's different levels of authority on that farm.
Absolutely, yeah, they're controlled. The control of there's people who run the cows, there's people who run the fields or whatever, and then there's the owners.
Yeah, and so they knew one of them, and our guy knew one of them, and those 2 owners didn't
communicate,
weren't coordinating, and so we ended up. And the young lady actually, she says, I don't want to fight with you guys. Let's just hunt together.
Yeah.
And I left it up. I left it up to the crew. What do you guys want to do? You want to go over here and hunt this field, or you want to just hunt with them? There's power in numbers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was a goose hunt.
Yeah.
And it was a goose hunt, and there was multiple birds that were going to come in that day. And we knew that we had experienced when you scouted, you knew that what that property was going to hold, and so it really, based on the positioning of the property, the wind, everything that morning, it was best for us to hunt where they were hunting, because that's where they were there before us.
Oh, they had been there before. Yeah, we'd never hunted that one, and they've hunted it before.
Yeah. And so when we got there, they already had their dive bomb decoys set up. They already had their layout blinds basically set up, and we were perfectly in time. We weren't going to set up as many decoys as they had, and we had full bodies, and so we just kind of made that decision to. Well, in the end, it was definitely the right thing.
It was the right thing. It makes me laugh, and you got to be transparent in this, but we're like jerking the stuff out of the truck and set, and I'm like, just put your stuff over there to the left, get on the left. I'm like, I got my dog and he needs to be on the left, and we need to make sure that they're safe. And I told him, flat out, I said, listen, we're here to be safe. Everybody needs to go home today.
Yeah.
And I got my dog, and do not shoot my dog.
Right.
And I say that to everybody that we encounter, or even friends that we know that we hunt with. And so, it was still a little tense for me. I don't know if that was like that for everybody else, but I was like, just wasn't.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't happy. I just didn't like the circumstance that we were in.
Well, and the other thing is you what the audience doesn't realize, at this point, we thought we were going to, we had a new guy who we were going to coach through it. I mean, he's never field hunted at all. And we haven't field hunted that much. We hunt over lakes or on the river. And we say that all the time, but this is a field hunt. And so we're out on the field in layout blinds. And so when we get up there, it's not just those 2. It ended up, we hunted with, how many was in our crew at time? That ended up being,
they had
4 and we had 5.
Yeah.
So we had 9 hunters. Yeah. I mean, 27 shots of volley, it's like, it can be a little nerve wracking, when you don't know someone, but really, we sat down and we made the decisions and gave that upfront speech that we give everybody. I mean, really, even a reminder to us, hey, the dog might break. Usually he doesn't, but if he does, if he's in the bead, don't shoot. Be mindful of those things.
Yeah, and the sun came up.
Oh yeah,
the sun still came up.
Yeah,
and at that point, I'm like, okay, let's just kind of chat a little bit. So we chat with them, get to know them, share our social medias with them, and ends up the young lady, and I'm gonna go ahead and name drop them here because I'm gonna tag them below in this video.
Yeah.
Haley Dove and Nick Pearson. Those were the two people that we ended up gaining a relationship with that day, and so we we knew that they knew what they were doing. I mean, Nick, you're a great goose caller.
Oh yeah, phenomenal. We've been talking about it ever since. He definitely he had a good cluck, a good moan. He turned those birds, and Harley, she used that flag, and we got groups started coming in.
Yeah. So I do want to say there was one moment where we had a single come in. We had a couple singles come in that didn't commit, but the single came in, and the young man that was with us who invited us, who had never been, I said, "You guys make sure this is Parker's."
Yeah.
And so it comes in and does it dirty, right down the pipe, man. And
I mean, right in front of him. I mean, it is like it's meant for him. Yeah. It comes right in front of his blind, basically.
Yeah. So I shouted out, "This is Parker's," and we all set up, and he sets up, and he just feathers everywhere.
He smoked it on the first shot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was awesome. A lot of pressure. 8 people watching it.
Yeah. And it was perfect. And Pastor went and grabbed it and handed it to him, and so that was a really cool moment. And then we had several volleys over that morning. I think we stayed there for like 4 hours.
Oh yeah, we spent the majority of the morning. We missed breakfast and all that by setting out there. But we knew that groups were committing, and what we didn't know until a little bit through conversation is they knew that the field was actually hunted the day before by another group, and they had put down like I think 30 some birds, 38 I think was the count that they had put down. So we didn't even realize that. So that's the reason why some of them wouldn't commit. Some of those singles wouldn't commit.
A lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, there was some pressure, but in the end we started getting some volleys, and that first volley came in. And we didn't shoot well.
Well, again, another funny story on that one was I left the drone in the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And so I look over to Logan, and as nice as Logan is, I'm like, dude, go get the drone. And the truck's like 200 yards away.
Yeah.
And so he jumps up and gets them, and he's gone on the first volley. And I think we laid down like 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Like it was like fresh morning, jitters, and Parker's the only one that had a kill by then.
Oh, yeah. So, it's basically.
And so it wasn't a good volley, and we wish that we could have had that one back, but then Logan went and got the drone, and we'll talk about the drone story.
Oh yeah. So what happened was that basically he gets that on film though, our first shots.
Yeah.
He's back there because he's in the tree line now. He doesn't even get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So but it was good, and we had more volleys that kept on going. And
oh yeah, well I mean we had the train wreck too. I think we knocked down 7 or 8.
Oh yeah.
And again, this hunt is full of stories.
Oh man.
So like 2 or 3 days later, I get a message. Well, we get a message on social media.
Retrieve,
and a local guy, had sent us a video that he had taken on his phone, and he's sitting in a parking lot across from this cornfield, and he gets that shot on camera, and you can see us calling, and then we knocked down 7 or 8 of them.
Oh yeah,
and it was like that was the best one, but it was so funny. He just so happened to be recording at that point.
Yeah, at the place where basically, and we got some negative comments from social media on this, but it looks, we're close to a development. There's no question, but we're close by the look of a camera, but perfectly legal. We're close
600 yards.
600 yards, but it the way the GoPro looks.
Well, the shot cam magnifies everything.
Oh yeah,
and so there's a short, and I'll even tag it right here. There's a short where we've got the bead on the goose, and it looks as if we were very, very close to that house, but that house, the goose is probably 60 yards away.
Oh yeah.
And the house is way further back than that. But, we minded our P's and Q's, and we scouted and made sure.
Checked on X.
Yeah. When we knew that we weren't going to hunt the place we were going to hunt that morning, I checked it, and I'm like, guys, we're 600 yards, 600 yards. And, if you've done this enough, that velocity in those BBs, they lose it about 80 yards. You know, 80 yards is still lethal to a bird. Those pellets don't go much further than that.
Yeah, and, I mean they'll rain BBs, but there's no penetration. There's nothing. I mean that's why it's a legal hunting limit. What is it? It's 400. It's 400, I think, in Virginia.
Well, and the thing is like I made this comment on one of the comments is that I could have shot once. I could have shot 3 times and basically piggybacked myself every time you shoot. So shoot and go to that marker where it loses beyond velocity and lethality, and then shoot again. And I could have shot again 3 times before it ever even touched that house.
Right.
The other thing is this particular place is a brand new development. No one is living in these houses.
Yeah.
No one's living in those houses. Yeah. So, but it's funny, and there's a guy that comments on all of our stuff. His name, I assume his name's Mark Smith, because it's Mark Smith and then I think a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
But Mark and I, we get in these comments and we talk, and I'm like, look, dude. And he's with me. He's like, bad press is good press.
Oh yeah.
Like the fact that people are commenting on our videos, it means that you're watching it. And the more that you watch our stuff, the better we do.
So like, share, comment, link. Yeah. I mean, send us a message. All those things. We love it. It doesn't matter. We read every comment and we respond.
We read the law too. I mean, and I said again, I would have had no problem inviting our warden buddies on that
absolutely.
hunt. There's nothing wrong with that hunt. But anyway, we know that they don't. Not always do you see the full picture in just a clipped short. But we were perfectly legal. And anyway, love the comments.
And it was a great hunt. We ended up with over 20 birds, or right at 20 birds.
22.
And it was awesome to be able to stack them. It was a good stack for us, and we had a great morning. Made a great friendship. Heard some great calling from Nick. I mean, he was a great caller, and just built a relationship. And I think I would go back to that scripture. We had the opportunity. I mean, we could have called the owner. We could have. And we could have maybe pushed our luck there, but that could have got us both kicked off of it. I mean, like, there was nothing good. The best thing we did was put on a smile and make the best of a situation. And in the end, we made friends.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And hopefully we get to hunt with them again. And we've talked about it.
And they are just not some like podunk hunters, dude. Yeah. They drove like 4.5 hours to get there.
Oh yeah.
They weren't like, they put in the work too.
Absolutely.
It goes back to that. You got to put yourself in their position. They got up. They did what they needed to do. They were there before we were.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was gracious of them to allow us to be part of that too. So it was a great hunt that day. And kind of circling back around to the drone.
Oh yeah.
So I put the drone up. I'm having complications just from exposure and stuff like that, because it was just so bright. And
really we're just trying to, how do we look in the field and just really to get some pictures of ourselves, in the layouts and just see it and so that's what we did to be able to put it behind us and so that's how you put it up. So
well, and let's divert here. So when we got up over top of us and like looking to see how we looked, so we have tangle free layout blinds, and they had dive bomb layout blinds, and dude, they blended in so much better in that stubble field.
Yeah,
and so I ended up switching. I ended up buying the dive bomb, and I'll maybe keep the tangle free one for a person who's never been before, and or I might sell it. I don't know. If you want it, you can comment below and let us know. But yeah, so I ended up switching to the dive bomb layout blind, just because of that. And so I'm getting all these videos, and so then I'm starting to mess with, if you know DJI at all, I'm starting to mess with the master shot.
Yeah.
And so the master shot basically takes everything in its own control.
Yeah.
And it will do like a circle around everything, and then it goes over top and it spins, and then it
because it was a dead part of the day. We were just really messing around. We're talking. We're standing outside the blind. We're laying down the blind. It's just a dead time. So you just start messing with it.
Yeah. And so I was like, I want to get a nice, cool wide shot to kind of show the whole field.
Yeah.
And so I back it up, and this is like back over my left shoulder. I can't see it at this point, so I'm just watching on the screen, and I put it in there, and then here it goes doing its unicircle. And the thing about the DJI Mini 3 Pro is it doesn't have side sensors.
Yeah.
So the sensors, you don't have anything on the side, so it's moving to the side, and it goes right into a tree.
And
you and Aaron are like, is that a squirrel?
Yeah, I was like, I just hear it go. I hear it go, floom. I'm like,
and you see the tree shaking.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's like, no, that's my drone. I was like, oh man, those moments.
So we jump up, and I'm like, well, good thing I got the protection plan on it, and so we go over there, and we're trying to get it out, and we're throwing pieces of corn at it.
We're trying,
rocks, dirt.
The stobs. I mean, it's a game at this point. It's just us throwing junk, throwing our arms out, trying to get it, and it's so high. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So one of us says, "AB, why don't you try to shoot it out? Shoot the limb off."
Okay,
let's
got
do
the
it.
protection plan. Let's do it.
So he shoots. It does nothing. I mean, it doesn't just leaves.
Just busts a hole through the leaves.
Yeah, that's it. And so that didn't work. And one of their guys actually hits it with a rock. We got that on film. And then finally, we hit it.
Yeah.
We hit it. And at that point, we send a football lineman, Logan, to retrieve it. And it's falling out of the tree. He's got a great beat on it. He runs straight out into the thicket to get it. And misses it, drops it. It breaks.
Yeah, the arm breaks.
And he's in this. Basically these stickers that stick on your. I mean, they're
like little thorny things.
Yeah,
some type of flower.
It's like a seed burr that's all over him. So he's got burrs all over him, and with that, we got that on video. You can tag that down. It's so funny. It got a ton of views on YouTube.
Dude, it's like one of our best shorts so far. It has nothing to do with hunting.
Oh yeah. So he comes out, and what was funny is because we're jokesters. I mean, when you get in the blind, so B's like, I'm gonna help Logan get these burrs off, and Logan's like, thank you so much, and B is picking them off his shorts and putting them on his back. I mean, every time he picks one up, I mean, he just puts it on his back. So we all of a sudden we hear birds, and Logan runs in, lays in that layout blind, and sticking him in the back. And he said, it's just funny.
He comes up and whispers to me after we had that volley, and he's like, hey man, I think I got something on my back.
You're like,
can you get him off of there?
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a great friend. So now Logan knows.
Yeah, and he has his GoPro footage, and he told me the other day, he was like, I was looking back at my GoPro footage, and I could see you putting them on my back.
Oh, we need to get that. We got to get that. We need to tag that in this. So, but in the end, it was a great hunt, great friends. Early split.
Well, I will say the drone got fixed.
Yeah.
So they actually sent me back the SD card, and I can see it get in the tree, and then us, like, I can't see anybody down there, but I could see like leaves shaking where we trying to get it down.
Does it get the moment when it falls?
Yeah, it does. I'll put it in here.
Does it have Logan?
No.
Missing?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It turned off. I guess, I don't know. I think it was low battery. Anyway,
that's funny. But anyway, it was a great hunt and a great friendship. And you have that opportunity to be able to do good to someone and be a part of that. But I know as we're coming to the close of this episode, I do have a great debate that happens sometimes. And so here is, if you're on YouTube, you're going to see this. We've got the fudge rounds, which is the Big Deborah cakes, Little Debbie cakes, and the oatmeal cream pies. All right. Yeah. And so, which is your favorite, or what is your favorite? I was reading an article that was talking about the top Little Debbie cakes, and oatmeal cream pie is there. Fudge rounds is there. Nutty butter bars are there. And actually, your favorite, I just looked just a second ago.
The strawberry things?
The strawberry
swirls. Yeah, there you go. Like the roll-up thing.
Yeah. So, but myself, personally, I'm a fudge round guy. I love the fudge rounds. Comment below or let us know what your favorite Little Debbie snack is. These things go crazy right now. I actually saw Sam's Club actually has literally the 24-pack of these. I mean, of oatmeal cream pies, and you put it in your back pocket, and you're sitting in that hunting hunting blind, whatever it is, maybe deer stand.
Warm it up
get warmed up. There ain't nothing like it. Contours to your buttocks, and then you pull that thing out. It's hot and warm.
Oh,
yeah.
Man,
So
nice.
The fudge round is my favorite actually. So, but I just thought that would be something. What do you think, B?
Well, the strawberry swirl or whatever that's my favorite. But I don't know, man. We need to do something about this.
The reality is any Little Debbie cake is great.
Well, in that song, the song that went to Richmond, north of Richmond, that went crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fudge round. That's the fudge rounds, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Because he's talking about the bag of fudge rounds, and we have a pastor friend, dude. He makes a good video too, and he's like, I'm listening to this song, and people are trying to redo it, and it's a great song, but I just have one question for everybody.
Yeah.
Where can a man find a bag of fudge rounds?
a bag. I mean, like I don't want to. What is this? This is the eight. I mean, there's only 8 in here.
Yeah, we need a bag of that.
We need the box. We need the
crate. Can you get us a crate?
maybe a pallet of them. I don't know, but no, it's a great episode. B. It's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. We can't wait to see you guys in what December will be the next
December, and we've got lots of content to cover.
Oh my goodness, and we've got a lot of fun coming up as this split comes. Man, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving because we won't see y'all until after that. But as always, happy hunting, and we love you guys.